Hello, Sister Wives family. This is Tanya from Tea Talks 93. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a great time with your family today. But I wanted to do my review on Sister Wives. I've been pretty busy at work for this week, and today is the first day that I've gotten some time to do it. So let's go. I did do my notes as usual. So this one was Sister Wives Season 19, Episode 11. It's called The 11th Hour. So it starts out in Salt Lake City with Christine. Christine and David's kids are gathering in their new house. They're doing some homemade pizzas and stuff like that, and they're like seeming like they get along really well. Christine let Isabel know ahead of time because they gathered them together pretty much to announce their engagement to their kids. So Christine did say that she let Isabel know ahead of time so that Isabel maybe wouldn't have been as upset as she could have been if she didn't know before. So she is trying to be considerate of Isabel's feelings with this. So that is kudos to Christine for thinking of her children. Christine shows the kids pictures from Moab, so that she's like, oh yeah, we took a trip to Moab and we had a really good time and this is what we did. And then of course the video of the proposal comes up and the kids get all excited, and then Peyton talks about Christine wanting the theatrical reaction to the fact that they're engaged now. So Christine wants people to be excited for her and happy for her. So he's like obliging her, and he's like, oh, that's great, Mom, I had no idea, which I'm sure he knew that it was probably coming, but it was pretty cute, I thought. Aspen says, and it really hit me, and I'm sure it hit a lot of people when she said this. She said, until I saw how happy my mom was with David, I had no idea. I did not realize how unhappy she was with my dad. So that really tells you what the kids saw growing up or didn't see growing up between Christine and Cody. So almost 30 years of a marriage that did not have that that intimacy. So there's physical and emotional intimacy, and I'm talking about emotional intimacy here. So Cody pretty much was like, I don't give a crap about you, apparently, and he's just like there to do his duty, like he keeps telling us, I'm here to do my duty, and then he goes on about his business. So and Aspen says how happy she is for her mom, and I think that's wonderful that the kids are seeing how happy she is and can say, okay, this is okay that my mom is sharing a life with a new man now. It flips back over to Mary and Flagstaff. Mary is packing and moving to Parowan, and I swear, didn't she do this like 3 times already, or is this the 3rd time? And then we of course have to invite Cody, because what else would make it more theatrical if we didn't have Cody there? I mean, I would have rather, honestly, I would have rather her have her friends Jen and Blair there helping her pack and move than Cody and Nathan. I don't mind Nathan, he's kind of kooky, but I don't think Cody needed to be there. I don't think this severance package crap was legitimate. I think it was just for TLC to have a storyline with Mary and Cody together. So that's just my personal opinion. You can tell me what you think. But she's packing her to Parowan. She asked Cody and Nathan to help her. And it just so happens that she chose the date that would have been their wedding anniversary to move. And I don't know if she wanted Cody to think about that, and she wanted to hear Cody say, hey, did you know what today is? He didn't do that. She's the one that ended up bringing it up. He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, did you do that on purpose? And she's like, no, I didn't do that on purpose. It was just an accident, basically, or just a coincidence. And I'm not sure that that is true. I think Mary probably did at least know that that was the date of their wedding anniversary and wanted to see if he had a reaction to it. That's my personal opinion. But then they talk about Mary was wanting to get rid of her old bedroom set that she and Cody had bought together in Las Vegas. And if you remember back is it 2 seasons ago, I think, when Christine and Cody, or was it last season? It's all running together, I'm sorry, but when Christine was moving out of her house in Flagstaff, she also got rid of her bedroom set. She sold it, and that upset Cody, and this is upsetting Cody that Mary's selling her bedroom set, because they don't want any reminders of what happened or didn't happen in those beds. So I can totally understand where they're coming from that. But Cody, of course, acts upset and like it's a big deal, and he doesn't understand why she's doing it. And it's almost like he wants her to keep that little bit of attachment or infatuation with him, and I think back to like when he was in high school, when they show clips of him in high school, and how his the students that, or they're adults at the time, but when they were students back in high school, his friends or whatever would say how dramatic and how much attention and those kinds of things he would seek. He wanted to be the center of attention, the one that everybody was like oohing and eyeing and like thinking about. So I kind of think that this is the case with him, and he's had these 4 wives for several years, and he's so used to being the center of attention that now he only has one person that he's the center of attention to. And I think he's going to have a problem with his ego because he does not have everybody fawning over him like he did. Personal opinion once again. There's a deal where Mary and Nathan are moving a stationary bike up into the truck to get it loaded, and Cody is just standing there. And they blame this on Mary. And Mary's not looking. I don't know if she saw where Cody was before she was going up, but Nathan sees where Cody is, and Nathan backs her up into Cody, and they like her rear end touches his front side, and he just stands there. He could have moved. He's like, oh, it was so disrespectful that Nathan did that, and Mary just laughed it off, but it was so disrespectful to Robin. And I'm like, bull crap. He could have moved. He saw her coming. He was the one that was turned toward them. He could have stepped one step to the left and he would have been fine, and it would not have even happened. So either he thought it was funny and thought it would be cool to do, or maybe they were just setting something theatrical up for the show. I don't know, but Mary laughing it off, I think it was more she was embarrassed, because some people said, oh, she did it on purpose and she's just wanting attention from him and that kind of thing. But the first time I watched it, I was like, I'm not sure. And then the second time I went back and watched it, and if you look at her face and how like shocked or embarrassed she is, I don't think she did it on purpose. I think it was an accident. I think that Nathan and Cody are just gross, and they shouldn't have put Mary in that situation, because it's not funny. It was kind of disgusting, especially because of how Cody has treated her for, he said 7 years. He said, I'm so sorry about the 7 years. So at least 7 years he treated her like crap. And so I don't think it's a funny joke when you've treated somebody that badly for that long. Just my opinion. Mary, yeah, she tries to laugh it off, and she's embarrassed, and I think it was kind of a laugh or cry situation, and she chose to try to laugh so she didn't get emotional about it. Cody talks about it being inappropriate because he's a monogamous with Robin, and what happens with me and Robin is sacred, and we don't need to impose this, and it was just not the right thing to do. And I just, like, as many times as I roll my eyes, you know, my grandparents used to be like, don't roll your eyes, because if you do, they're going to get stuck in the back of your head. And that's what I think. I'm like, I feel like my eyes are getting stuck in the back of my head because I'm rolling them so much at Cody and his baloney. It goes back to Salt Lake City, Utah with Christine and Janelle. Janelle gets to meet David, I guess, whenever her kids came to meet David. Janelle was in North Carolina when Maddie was delivering her 3rd child. So now she's able to come meet, Janelle's able to come meet David. And she's like, I gotta meet him because it's serious now, and I'm worried that we're not gonna like each other. She talks about how fast the relationship is going, and I guess from meeting to the proposal is only 2 months, and Christine kind of like, oh my gosh, it was only 2 months. But they knew what they were doing, and they're just wanting to go fast. But she's like, now it's just, we're not doing anything other than planning the wedding for several months, so they will have known each other for over a year by the time they get married. And they can always, you know, they could have always stopped and said this isn't working at any time. But as we know, we've seen the wedding, so we know it worked out, and they're still happy. And I, excuse me, And actually, I was watching along with McKelty and Tony, and Christine and David popped in a couple months ago, and they were still very happy and pleasant around each other and respectful of each other. So it's been a year since they've been married. They've known each other for a couple of years, so I hope it continues like that, and they're truly the love of each other's lives, and it works out forever. We shall see. Janelle talks about how she and Maddie, they had looked at the property in Montana. I think that was on the show. And then they said it was just really expensive. So then we were actually looking around North Carolina, around where Maddie's living currently. And they found a nice property, farming property, pretty close. I think she said it was about an hour away from where Maddie is and Caleb are currently living. And then Caleb can also continue the current job he has. He doesn't have to switch jobs. So that's a win-win. I think it's a great idea. It gets Janelle and Maddie across the country away from Cody, so hopefully Cody can't talk Janelle into coming back, because the way he talks through like the last episode and this episode, he's like, I don't know what's going on with Janelle. She says it's not working, but I don't know why we can't work it out. Even though he's like, I'm a monogamous with Robin, so it makes no sense whatsoever. But I think getting her physically away from Flagstaff and many states over, hopefully that will help prevent the situation of her caving and going back to Mr. Baloney. Anyway, so Christine and Janelle talk about Coyote Pass and what's going on with that. Christine's like, yeah, I remember there was a big balloon payment. She's like, I really didn't want to be a part of that. So she was like so glad that she took the easy way out, or easy-ish way out, of just like, hey, you have my property, just give me the money out of my house and we're done. So that worked out very good for Christine. She was very smart to do that. I wish Janelle had bought a house now. I wish that she had bought a house and been able to sell it and do the same thing as Christine, and then like, whatever you want to do with your property, Cody, knock yourself out. But unfortunately that's not the case, and Janelle's got all her eggs in this one basket, and I hope that she gets her rightful share out, and I hope Mary gets her rightful share out. Even though Mary's got her own place, but Mary paid for that Parowan bed and breakfast all on her own. She asked for help from the family, from Cody, and Cody's like, I just can't do it right now. And she's like, well, then I can't participate in the family, and I'm just going to work my butt off until I can pay for this. And she did that herself. So she totally deserves that. But if she's putting money into the Coyote Pass property, then she deserves whatever is her rightful share of that as well. And hopefully legally that works out in their favor. Janelle tells, when she's moving to North Carolina, she's like, I don't feel like I need to tell Cody. So she doesn't, and it looks like, getting ahead a little bit, but like in the trailer, it looks like she's moving across states, and it looks like Cody may be mad because she didn't tell him, or I don't know, but he gets really mad in that trailer, and I just wonder what's going on, whether it's like because they're legally taking him to court for the property, or Christine's taking him to court for Truly, or if he's just mad that Janelle didn't talk to him about moving, maybe, and then got the lawyer about the Coyote Pass property. So he looks really mad, and I can't wait for that because he totally deserves it. Janelle mentions that Cody always passes blame, and it's always somebody else's fault if something doesn't get done correctly. So basically, because the Coyote Pass property and how to divide it equally and all that stuff, and the finances are all a mess, and it's hard to figure out who needs what, or what amount of money or whatever belongs to who, so that they can sever ties, is so confusing. He's like, oh, it's Janelle's fault, or he makes everybody think it's Janelle's fault, and Janelle's like, I just did the math. Cody was like, I'm taking this. Christine, Mary, Robin would be like, I'm taking this, and I would just basically like balance the checkbook, and like, we're over, we're under, whatever, we only have this much to get by, or we have to pay this, so we can't do that kind of thing. She wasn't the one that was like the CEO of the family. That's Cody. Cody was the CEO of the family, if you want to say. And he's the one that said, yes, we can spend the money on this, or no, we can't spend the money on that because whatever. So Cody tries to pass the buck, but the buck should stop with him. It's his issues. Janelle tells Christine that she talked to Mary, and Mary is so surprised that Cody controlled the money. So Christine knew. Mary apparently thought Janelle was the one in charge of the money, so it was a surprise to her. And she said, I think they're both lying, Janelle and Cody, that they knew more than they say. But like so many people have said, Janelle did not have to go over there and tell Mary that there was a problem. She could have just been like, you know what, I'm going to take care of myself, and then you can figure it out on your own because you never believed me. And they've always had like a rocky relationship. But also in that next trailer, it looks like they may be working together. I hope that's the case. I hope they can get past their issues and work together and just get their rightful shares. They don't need to be with Cody. Cody is a toxic person. So they just need to cut ties with him, get their rightful shares, go buy their own land, North Carolina, Parowan, whatever, and be done with Cody. Janelle says Cody attacks what's important to each wife, and like when Christine, when he was severing the relationship with Christine, or Christine technically severed it with him, but he was like telling her, I'm not attracted to you, I don't want to be intimate with you anymore, I was never attracted to you. And then he tries to blame it on Janelle. Janelle told Christine that I said that, and that wasn't right of her. But he, like, when Christine sat him down at the table in her house in Flagstaff when she was breaking up with him, basically, she said, you know, we can't be together, we aren't going to have an intimate relationship, so why are we in this marriage, and I want to end it. And he was like, well, it's true that I think the almost exact words were, it's true that I was never attracted to you, and I was, did he say he was forced into the marriage, or he felt like he was pressured into the marriage, something like that, and that's the only reason why they get married. And how hurtful that would have been, especially 6 kids later. It's a pretty nasty thing to say. And like I said, Cody is just toxic, and honestly I hope Robin sees it and leaves his butt as soon as possible. She deserves it, and I hope that Mary and Janelle get their rightful shares of Coyote Pass, and then whatever's left between Cody and Robin, I hope Robin leaves him and takes everything. We've all given Robin a bunch of crap because we think she's lying and manipulative, and has pretty much destroyed the family when she came into it, which was Cody's idea and Cody's choice. But I think he is also manipulating her. There may be manipulation going on between the two of them to each other, but I think that Cody would deserve for Robin to take everything from him, because he coddled her, he took care of her, made her the priority over his whole family. So I think the snake, him protecting the snake that might bite him, I think that would be just rewards. So we'll see. Janelle says that her part that he is attacking then is that she enjoys financial security and being responsible for money, and so he's trying to paint the problems on her, or put the problems on her. And like I said, Mary thinks they're both lying about it, but Janelle and Christine are both like, if Janelle truly had the whole responsibility and make the choices of what happens to the money itself, then they would be in a whole different place. Everybody would have their rightful share. Everybody would be in a home already on Coyote Pass, if that was the case. If Janelle had been in charge of the money and not Cody, because Cody is not very good at making financial or business decisions. It's been proven time and time again. Every time something is going good, he will pick up and go somewhere else, and then it makes you wonder if like he was causing some problem, or some problem was coming up, and he's like, oh, I gotta leave out of here and go somewhere else, and hopefully the problem won't follow me. So that made me wonder about Las Vegas, like was something coming up that he didn't tell anybody, and so he's like, we gotta pack and move or before I get caught, kind of thing. So that could be. Christine and Janelle say they had to get permission to spend any more than their normal household expense for the month, and then that Cody could just go in and spend whatever he wanted to. which 100% I can see Cody doing that. So I totally believe them. I believe them on that. Cody, yeah, Christine says, yeah, Cody always wrote the checks if I needed money. He was always the one to write the checks. It was not Janelle. And Janelle talks about being told about, Gwen's engagement party, like when they were getting tattoos and stuff, and she was just like, oh my gosh, Christine was so pious, and she would have never done this years ago, but now that she's left Cody, she's kind of free, and she's kind of going a little wild, kind of reliving teenage years that she didn't get to live because she was in that really strict religion that didn't allow for her to spread her wings a little bit. So it's fine. I think it's fun. I think kudos to Christine, but she shows her tattoo, and had to make sure that Janelle saw David's, and they were matching and all that fun stuff. And Janelle just laughs, and she's just like, oh, you're crazy kids kind of thing. So that was pretty funny. Christine shows her the ring and tells her they're engaged, and Janelle just says, I hope I like David because they've spent a lot of money on the house and then this ring. So that was pretty cute. Flashes over back to Mary's house when they're moving, and Cody's like, oh, Mary is on point today. She's the wife I would have loved to have been married to for all those years. Well, where was this person? Cody, no. She was always that person. You just put your thumb on her and smushed her into the ground. You wouldn't let her have her own opinions, and you controlled her and manipulated her and didn't want anything to do with her, and you didn't see the side of her because she didn't know she could show it. She didn't trust you to be able to show her true self. So think about that, Mr. Codeman. That's what happened. He talks about Mary is now his favorite ex-wife, and Mary's like, ah, ha, ha, I'm finally the favorite. I always wanted to be the favorite. Now it's the case, but I'm the favorite ex-wife, not the favorite wife. Robin comes in. She's like, oh, I can't help move because I want her to stay, so I feel like I would be like moving things back into the house instead of out. It was just really silly, I think. But Cody talks about not understanding why Robin is still so heartbroken about Mary, and they're moving on, and why can't Robin move on? Because Cody, you made promises to Robin that she was going to join a polygamous family, and then you destroyed the family. And then she's still hanging on to her good friend that kind of took her under her wing. So Mary kind of took Robin under her wing, protected her, backed her up, helped her whenever she needed it. And that's why Robin is so upset. And then I just thought, like, maybe she doesn't want to be there alone with Cody because Cody is a little crazy sometimes, and maybe she enjoyed having another wife, at least one other wife that could be like either distract him so he doesn't irritate her or upset her, or maybe it's 2 against 1 kind of a situation, so he'll back down. I don't know, but it makes me wonder why Robin is really so upset about Mary leaving. Because as we all know, she's like, I love you, Mary, you're my favorite sister wife, we're really good friends, but she doesn't go over and see her. She doesn't take the kids to see her. She doesn't invite Mary over. She's always saying how awkward it is whenever Mary's over, and Cody says how awkward it is when Mary's over at their house. So she's not very welcoming to Mary. So from that point, I don't know why she can't let her go. But maybe she is afraid of Cody just being left alone and nobody to help support her dealing with Cody's changes of emotions, and going from angry to happy to whatever. So he's kind of all over the place, and maybe that's it. I don't know. Christine talks about Robin manipulating Mary, and I think that is the case. I'm not sure if she intentionally does it or if she just naturally is that way. Don't really know, but Robin gives Mary a journal, and it was to put all her hopes and dreams in. Somebody said it was worth like $130 or something like that. I think that's crazy. I was kind of surprised that she didn't buy her one of those Dickens Christmas village houses or something to take to Parowan. I thought that would have been funny, but some journal that, who knows if Mary's using it or not, but she could probably resell it if she wanted to. Mary says Robin is very emotional, and she's like, I'm not in the place where I want to continue being emotional about this. I want to move on and do my own thing. So Mary says she's only going to share emotions with people that she is comfortable sharing them with. So if Mary shares anything with Robin, she knows it's going to go back to Cody. She can't trust her, and I think finally she is realizing this, so that is good. Then Robin goes out to her car as she's leaving, and she like pulls off on the road, and she turns her phone on for the video, and she's like crying into her camera, and she's like, just one heartbreak after another, and she's crying. Were there tears? Maybe there were tears this time, one or two. It's really hard to tell due to the lighting, but she's really trying to make tears. Really trying. You can tell. And she's getting them on camera. I think she may have at least had one. She's like, see, they're real, but I don't know. Mary doesn't know what to do with the Brown family mission statement, as she's like taking that out of the house, and she's like, I don't know, what do? Burn it? And it offended Cody, and Cody's like, well, that was the best time of our lives, and we did something special. And Mary's like, how special can it be when you totally ruined it? So he didn't respect it, so why should she respect it if Cody didn't respect it? Yeah, and then they gave us clips of the celebration of when they were doing the mission statement back in Las Vegas. And at that time, everybody, there were some problems, but for the most part, they were like really trying to work out their problems and keep the family together. And they had a bunch of kids still in the house, and they were enjoying, helping each other with that. But Cody says, everybody blames me because it fell apart. Well, if you remember, Cody, and he probably will never see this, but if you remember this, Cody, when they were in Sedona, Arizona, and they had their therapist with them, and she said, where do you see each person? Where do you see yourself fitting in this family? And the women wanted Cody in the middle, and they wanted to be like the spokes around the wheel kind of thing. And in my mind, I'm like, that does make sense. I mean, they could work together, like hold hands and help each other, but Cody is the center. No matter what he says, he was the center of that whole 5-way relationship. And then he's like, I don't want to be in the middle, because then you guys won't have relationships. And then now we see him getting mad because Janelle and Christine have a good relationship. So he just contradicts himself constantly. It's so frustrating. But Cody is to blame, because he was the center of the relationship, and he did not nurture all of his marriages. He nurtured one marriage. So of course all the other ones are going to break down, especially if he's looking at going towards monogamy and not polygamy. He apparently lost his faith between COVID and the breakups, and so then he was questioning whether polygamy was something that's needed, but then he's wanting to keep Janelle around. I don't know. It's pretty nuts. But Cody, something happened to him. I don't know if it's some kind of mental breakdown or what, but he caused a lot of problems and caused his family to fall apart. And I think they could have worked through it if he would have been willing, and if he would have loved his wives, or tried to love his wives, they may have been okay. But Christine is way in a better place, and I hope Mary and Janelle find their niche in life and are able to make a good life too. And if they find their person that they want to marry, I hope that happens for them and that they're happy as well. Yeah, Cody talks about being bitter and hurt that the family crumbled. And he says, Mary changed when we got married and was difficult until that day that they're moving her. And now she's not difficult. Well, now she doesn't have the pressure of trying to be the good wife, the pious wife, all these things. She can just be herself. So, see, he did fall in love with Mary. He just turned her into something, or he punished her, maybe. Maybe not intentionally, but maybe for being herself. And so she felt like she couldn't be herself all the time. Janelle meets David in the next segment, and David was worried about, because Christine was like, oh yeah, she will always be my sister wife. And David talks about how, like, at first when she was saying that, she's like, but you don't want me to be married to her, right? I'm just a one man, one woman kind of guy. And she's like, no, she's just going to be, we're just going to have that relationship. Like, we're really good friends. And he's like, okay, that's fine. Then bring her on. I'll meet her and I'll be good with her too, right? So Janelle and Christine talk about how weird and nervous living with the man full time is, because Cody would just pop in like a little bee once in a while. And, but Christine is enjoying having David to herself, and that person that sees her as his love of his life. So Christine totally deserves it after spending 20, almost 30 years with Cody, and not feeling that unconditional love that I think David gives her. And then Janelle also talks about how she sees that Christine is so happy and in love, and sees how David is in love with her, and she's like, I think this will work. I think it'll be good. Then we finally get Mary's stuff up to Parowan, and Jen's there, and Jen and Nathan are helping them unload. Cody talks to them, or they're making some jokes, and Cody's like, or Jen is like, I'm not sure about this polygamous humor that you guys have, so that must be above my head because I'm not involved in that. But Cody talks about, like, yeah, we have polygamous humor, and Mary and Christine participated, but Janelle and Robin were always uncomfortable with it. So then I was thinking, like, is that because Mary and Christine grew up in the faith, and maybe they had more humor about it because they lived in it all the time? And then Robin had like a weird situation with her mom and I guess it's her stepdad, adoptive dad, whatever he is, because he had multiple wives, but they lived like hours apart, and it seems like maybe the women couldn't like be around each other and be friends or anything. So that was her experience. And then Janelle moved into the religious faith from the mainstream Mormon church, so she probably is like, this is something that I chose because this is what the doctrine says, and we need to be respectful of it, and I don't appreciate the laughter about it. So that's probably where they're coming from. But I think it's fine that Mary and Christine joked a little bit, as long as they didn't get too crazy, right? So and then Cody talks about how Robin once got so offended that she demanded Cody to have respect of the marriages, and so he stopped having any kind of polygamy humor, especially around her. So Robin's controlling. There's an incident where Robin is controlling. She told him what he can and can't do. So here we are again. Cody doesn't see it. Cody starts crying, and he starts crying because this is the end of an era. We were together and we had something special. And in my mind, I went back to the act is easy, right? When he said that. And also, like, is this a follow-up to the knife in the kidneys? So he's going for that Academy Award. You ain't gonna get it, Cody. It's not that dramatic. The act, it may be easy, but like Mary said, we can see through it. You're not fooling anybody. Probably what he's crying about is the fact that he failed. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's the fact that this marriage is broken up, because he wanted this for 7 years, apparently. So when he's crying, Mary's like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I mean, and in her mind, she's probably like, you did this, buddy. You could have stopped this. You could have prevented this from happening, but you did this yourself, Cody. And Jen and Nathan are like, looking away, like, what's over there? Okay, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. And so awkward. It was so awkward. Horrible. But, yep, knife in the kidneys. Follow up. Part 2. Anyway, Cody says, everyone else said it. I said, everyone else said it wasn't important. Oh, I think, the family. I think he was referring to the wives were like, well, this isn't important and we're just going to let it go. And he's the only one that thought it was important enough to try to work on things. Cody, we have been watching this. We have been watching this on television. It's televised. It's nationwide, but also people around the world are watching it. They have seen him make a mockery of his polygamy, which I've never really, I don't buy into it at all. But when you're practicing it and you're practicing it for religion, then he totally disrespected it. He knew, he had to have known he was doing it wrong. Like as soon as he started favoring Robin over the other wives, he knew he was doing it wrong. And if he wanted to stay in that religion, he should have gone to his elders at that time and said, this is what is going on. I'm having problems. What can I do? And he's like, there's no rule book. That's what he says in this stuff. There's no rule book for polygamy. But there's religious leaders that some of them have been successful, some of them not. But maybe he could have seen somebody that had been successful for many, many years and gone and got some information and opinions from that person. They can give him recommendations. So he didn't do that, I don't think. Otherwise, he probably would have still had 4 wives today. Yeah, he's like, this is the final nail in the coffin of our dream. And I'm like, oh, Cody. No. The end of an era. And then Mary, she's on the couch and she's like, I don't understand Cody's emotions. He did this. He did this. He could have reversed it at any time, but he doesn't. And he's like, I'm a monogamous with Robin now, and he just leaves it at that. And then every once in a while he'll pop off, but I don't know why he can't work it out with Janelle. So confusing. And then I'm trying to remember how it came up. Like, I think Cody, was it Cody? One of them were saying like, if she found the love of her life and got married, then he would be okay with that. And I think Jen was like joking. She's like, oh, would you be the flower girl? And he's like, no, but I would walk her down the aisle. And Mary's like, what is happening here? That is crazy. Why would I want my ex-husband to walk me down the aisle? That's just weird. So Cody's not making sense. And then he says, now we have the permission to move on. And Mary's like, what is this? So I don't remember hearing him asking Mary if he could have permission to move on with Robin. Did anybody else hear that? He's given Mary permission to move on because he doesn't want her. But I did not hear him say, Mary, I would like to move on with Robin, and are you okay with this? Or, I mean, maybe she's not going to be, but it was kind of an odd statement to say when Mary had not given that permission. Kind of weird. Anyway, so that's the end of that episode. Some interesting things. Cody's still crazy, saying some bizarre stuff, acting bizarre. I don't know what's going on with him. I truly think he needs a therapist, some heavy therapy. Robin, if you're watching, you need some therapy too, but I feel like it's kind of, and nothing against Alcoholics Anonymous or AA, Al-Anon, or Al-Anon. I think, I don't know if this is alcoholism or what that Cody's got going on. He's got something going on, but I feel like that's kind of similar. Like, he needs aggressive therapy to get him through whatever is making him so irrational and flipping all these things he's doing. And then I think Robin needs like an Al-Anon type thing, whatever it is, to help her live with him, because he's difficult and he is reactive and he is counter-reactive and he just makes nonsense a lot of the time. So I think the whole family there that is still with him needs help. So anyway, then it showed some previews for the next episode. It looks very interesting. Like I said, angry Cody, he's like chopping down trees and almost letting them fall on his head or on Robin or who knows what. Janelle is moving. She's like so happy to get out of Flagstaff. And so I don't know if that's why Cody is angry. Like I said, I don't know if something's going on with Coyote Pass legally that he's angry, but he looks angry. And then it looks like he and Robin are playing on Coyote Pass on the ATVs. And then it's just so weird. Like Robin goes like flying, like Cody's driving really fast and Robin shoots across in front of him and goes over this little knoll and falls off the ATV. And so drama. And now I've said, like, I wonder if that was really Robin or if it was a mannequin that they set up to look like Robin. I don't know. It may have been her and it may have been true. Kind of interesting that they got it on film. And then, of course, Cody's got to come and rescue her and save the day. And then maybe it'll be like a Sleeping Beauty kind of thing where, you know, the prince saves her and they live happily ever after. I have no idea. It's going to be interesting. We shall see what comes about. But that is my take on this week's episode. I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving, have a good week, and I'll see you again next week. Thank you.